Hey guys, I'm Dov, and today I'm back with more Total War Warhammer 2 online action. Today we're actually going to be watching an FFA. I haven't casted an FFA in quite some time, so let's get to it. I'm going to be taking the High Elves. We've got ProfPwn with the green skins here, mostly Gabo force, it has to be noted. Turin is going to be commanding the Tomb Kings, and we've got Artemis as the Lizardmen here. And the main reason I wanted to cast this one, besides the fact that A, it's an awesome FFA and it's going to be a ton of fun to watch, is that ProfPwn has actually officially started up his channel. So I'll have a link in the description below to both his YouTube and Twitch. He's going to be streaming primarily on Twitch, I believe, from what he said. Going to be streaming not only Total War, but other games as well. So you guys go ahead and give him a follow. You guys will see me hanging around his chat quite often. He's a super fun guy, a great part of the community, and we're very happy to have him finally producing content after so long of it being a joke of you guys to go subscribe and him not actually making any content. He's actually streaming now, so let's go show him some love, and yeah, we'll get to this FFA. You can see I'm under the banner of Nagarath. We'll just quickly gloss over the army here. I've got a princess, someone on a dragon, 4 spearmen, a couple of dragon princes, high mage, noble. We've got 4 Illyrian reavers. One of them is the heralds of the wind. The green skins here. We've got some death's creepers, lots of nasty skulkers spread around with night goblins, both the night goblin regiments of renown, night goblin firing squad. We've got Durkit squigs, Force goblin spider riders, Gobbo big boss, the Ragnarok queen, and Azag the slaughter up in the air. Excuse me, for Turin's Tomb Kings, Arkan the Black, and it's Sirth the Arkan, I guess, because he's got a whole bunch of chariots. Holy cow, look at these, all these skeleton archer chariots. He's got a Tomb Prince, Necrosphinx of Usek, a couple of Nekharan horsemen, Lizardmen. They've got some Chameleon Skinks here who are going to be running away from those chariots, some Pterodon riders with Fire Leech bolas over here, Saurus warriors with shields mixed with Skink cohort. We've got Krokar, Saurus spears in the back, some Skink cohort, more of them spread around, and I believe that's pretty much it. So without further ado, let's kick the battle into full gear. You can see I'm going to be moving up here, doing some skirmishing, and yeah, despite the fact that the Death's Creepers have regeneration, they'll definitely get out-skirmished by 2 units of Lothern Sea Guard. Meanwhile, as I mentioned, the Chariot's going to be setting their sights on these poor Chameleon Skinks who are fleeing through this little ravine here, but unfortunately it is going to turn into their graveyard. That being said, the trees may actually stop up those Tomb King Chariots a little bit here, not to mention the poison missiles also debuffing their speed, so it may actually be kind of tricky to catch those Chameleon Skinks with all those chariots. But meanwhile over here, kind of maneuvering my Illyrian Reaver archers up and around, again just kind of trying to get in a position to start shooting here, while the Lizardmen are going to be moving up to kind of secure this flank. You can see the Saurus spears going to kind of occupy this territory here. We've got a little bit of a skirmish engagement between the archer chariots and these Pterodon riders going down, so kind of an awkward skirmish there. More skirmishing going down here as these nasty skulkers take some nasty volleys from these high elves here. And yeah, we're going to be maneuvering up and around the hill. You can see my cav is getting caught out a little bit here by the light cav of the greenskins, so that's most unfortunate. I definitely don't want these Illyrian Reaver archers fighting one-on-one, so we're going to hook over some support and bring in the dragon and the dragon princes as well. 1 unit of dragon princes and the dragon princess diving down into combat here, taking on these Durkit squigs, and it's definitely going to be an uncomfortable situation. And man, these tuxedo princes, can we just admire once again how good the Nagarath color scheme looks, especially on the dragon princes? Man, absolutely beautiful. Meanwhile, checking in with the Tomb Kings and the Lizardmen, you can see Chameleon Skinks continuing to try and flee away here, but the Sirtha... Oh man, this is just so ridiculous. I love it. I love chariots, guys. If you didn't realize by now, you'll figure it out at some point, but I really love chariots, and this just makes me so happy. Look at all of these chariots. Just stop. Oh man, it's so ridiculous. Just running down the hill, running over all these Saurus warriors. The Sirtha Ek is real here, folks. The Sirtha Arkan, rather. Anyway, moving up here, you can see we're dropping an Overcast Tempest on Azag because I do happen to have a High Mage. The Dragon Princess also going to be shooting at him as he moves around there. We also drop an Arcane Unforging just to make him not be able to cast that Wah. I actually don't know if he's popped the Wah yet, but yeah, that Arcane Unforging will kind of prevent him from doing so. Ooh, it looks like I didn't actually quite get it cast there. But, yeah, You can see Nekar and Horseman intercepting that Gobbo Big Boss. The Surth Arcan rolling through, or no, that's actually Cetra. I thought that was Arcan, but Cetra, the Imperishable, leading the chariot charge here and just running over a lot of the Lizardmen infantry here. It's really, really rough for those Saurus. Meanwhile, over here, the Gobbos are blobbing in. We did get that Arcane Unforging off on Azag before he popped the Wasp, so that's going to be good. My Heil forces kind of moving up in reserve here. These Nasty Skulkers are going to get an Alpha Strike by these Illyrian Reavers and the Dragon Princes there, and a Dragon Breath also going down, just roasting out a whole bunch of these Gobbos. So they're rushing in here to engage my Heil forces, and oh man, Azag must have been involved in some melee somewhere to get the Wall recharge, but dropping a nice Purple Sun over here. Professor Pwn just brutalizing the Lizardmen that are getting just massacred by the chariots as well. So a very rough time for the poor lizard people, and yeah, it's just going to be a bad day overall. You can see Azag though trying to get back up in the air. He's kind of pinned in by chariots at this point a little bit, and thankfully Krokar didn't set his sights on him. But over here you can see the Pterodon mass squad is riding over. We're going to get the Illyrian Reavers to start responding here. Currently I'm on the bottom in points, but everyone's within about 1,000 points of each other in terms of the score, so there's quite a bit of fighting left to be done. Unfortunately, the Rustiers here getting inundated by High Elf Spearmen. We've got more Gobbos rolling over the hill here, and another Tempest going down on these Fire Leech Bolas and other Pterodons who are just raining hell down at this point. But between all the Bowfire and the Tempest, we should be able to see them off without too much issue. The Gobbo Big Boss routing off some of those Spearmen there. A lot of the High Elf Spearmen, in fact, taking a lot of damage at this point and actually routing off. Meanwhile, the oh man, just every time I look at this army, it makes me so happy. The Surtha Cetra here is going to be riding up the hill. Now, really wanting to take on Krokar 1v1, although he does have the Necrosphinx nearby to help with that fact. But yeah, Dragon Prince is mopping up a lot of kills at this point. Another Dragon Breath going down. That one not super effective. The targeting for it, unfortunately, kind of targeted the ground. But I see this big old blob of there's Saurus Spears fighting here. Azag is also here, and there's these nice squishy Nasty Skulkers here, so we're going to bring the Dragon Princess down, or the Tuxedo Princess rather, and get a nice charge into those Nasty Skulkers, do a ton of damage to them, and we do get a smoke bomb in there, but obviously I'm not too worried about that engagement. Meanwhile, firing in from the Illyrian Reavers, some of them are out of ammo, so we're going to drop everything down into an Alpha Strike and try and take out Krokar. This is a bit risky, obviously, since he can do quite well against the dragon here, but oh man, look at that princess just shooting him point blank in the face. And does she actually have a bow? Might need to have Creative Assembly look at that. It doesn't look like she actually has a bow there, but anyway. Another Arcane Unforging going to be going down on Crocky G himself with the Alpha Strike from the Dragon and all the Cav. It should be enough to finish him off. We're also firing in some more missiles from the Illyrian Reavers. Meanwhile, Gobbos are still mixed up in here. The Arachnarok Queen's still online as well, fighting the Necrosphinx. The chariots come in. It's just all kinds of chaos. There's High Elf Spearmen in here poking everyone. And yeah, just all kinds of beautiful destruction going down. Love FFAs. They're so chaotic and ridiculous. But yeah, you can see the Illyrian Reaver archers actually get caught here by the skeleton chariots. And it's going to be a bit rough. Ooh, looks like some magic also coming down from Cetra there. The Incantation of Vengeance. Oh man, I love listening to the Tomb King Lords cast their spells where they do that incantation. It's such a cool effect. But at this point, the Spiderling's going to be seen off. Most of the Greenskin forces are pretty much done for. I didn't quite catch what happened to Azag, but no, he's still actually alive over here chasing off Skinks. So definitely still getting some good value, but I have managed to pull a pretty decisive lead at this point, about 2,000 points worth. But yeah, unfortunately, Cetra the Imperishable here doesn't have anti-large when he's up on his chariot, and the High Elf Noble going to get in here and start doing some nice damage with the anti-large armor piercing. He does do AP, so he'll be able to do a bit of damage in return to the Noble, but yeah, the Noble will definitely be able to get the better of that engagement. Meanwhile, Spider just fighting these High Elf Spearmen here. The dragon came down, and we basically did the same thing that we did to Krokar to this Necrosphinx here, which is just an Alpha Strike, come in with lots of Cav, Spearmen, and the dragon all at once to try and get as much support as possible. We've also got a Tomb Prince in here, who the Tomb Prince, excuse me, is weak to fire damage. So yeah, he's going to have a rough time fighting that dragon. But the crumbling's real. The Sphinx should crumble momentarily, and then the Tomb Prince will go down as well. So we're going to get the dragon back up into the air. Haven't taken too much damage. Azag's close by, so maybe we can catch him, or at the very least shoot him a couple times. But yeah. At this point, you can see a noble Cetra. I keep saying Arcan. Cetra managed to escape, but the noble's going to be going after him there. The princess getting the Spirit Leech, but still going after Azag pretty aggressively here. We've got plenty of Cav sweeping up the side here. Gobbo Big Boss still online, and Crocky G with some Saurus Warriors also on the edge of the map, coming back from route. That Tomb Prince finally goes down, and the noble going to be wrapped up with some chariots here. The spider and the dragon all come down to kind of alpha strike on Cetra here, and yeah, he's not going to like especially the fire damage from the princess here. But it's just going to be all kinds of chaos, and the dragon and the spider actually turn to each other and start fighting. That allows Cetra to escape. Well, sort of escape. Azag comes down and tries to get involved as well, and it's just all kinds of madness. The curse going off from Cetra, all the units in his pocket generating some really nice value there. Yeah, but Azag himself actually gets caught out by the noble now, who's in this pocket, who is also getting hit by the spider, and it's all kinds of crazy in here, guys, if you couldn't tell. But the princess is trying to impose some semblance of order here. She's up in the air and going to charge back down and now get a couple of clean attacks against Cetra, and that should be enough to finish him off there. Maybe not quite yet, but once the fire damage starts kicking in there, Cetra's going to be very, very uncomfortable. The routing Arachnarok Queen runs right through those Dragon Princes, and they're going to come in and also pin in Cetra. So at this point, it's pretty much end for the Tomb Kings. Cetra just getting the Alpha Strike, and that Spider still online somehow, trying to find its way through all of the Illyrian Reavers and so on. So pretty comfortable lead at this point, and it should be a victory for the High Elves, but we'll soak up some more cinematics as Cetra tries to make his escape here. Oh man, such an awesome build from Turin, true hero, and very well played to him. But yeah, it is going to be rough stuff as soon as this dragon gets down here. One more time, actually this time for real, should finish him off, and indeed Cetra goes down. So with that, pretty much is the end of the Tomb King's forces. We're just trying to wrap up the last of the Green Tide now. Dragon Princes running around charging different units, so we'll go ahead and fast forward a little bit through this late game, as most of the really fun stuff is pretty much over with at this point. You can see the Death Reapers do come back though and get a nice charge, rout off some of those Illyrian Reavers, but at this point it's time for the last honorable combat. So Azag's going to come in against the Princess here, and they'll duke it out until the very end. So yeah, the last of the greenskins on the ground get routed off, and despite the fact that Azag's actually doing quite well for himself up in the air, he has pretty comparable combat stats to the Princess. Much lower melee defense, but comparable melee attack, and he does poison. But unfortunately his leadership does give out there. So very well played to everyone involved. Hope you guys enjoyed watching. Super fun FFA. Haven't casted one in quite a while, so I figured you guys would want to see some of the madness of that FFA. And it was definitely a very fun battle that was actually fought on the ultra unit sizes as well. So very fun stuff. Dragon Princes cleaning up a lot of kills, 329 and 239. Illyrian Reavers also doing quite well, and 131 on the Princess. For Turin's oh man, Cetra Ek build, the Chariots cleaned up a lot of kills, and man, those Nehakaran Horsemen cleaned up a lot of kills too. They must have got a hold of some skinks or something, but Cetra himself, 182, Chariots all across the board doing quite well, and even 60 for the Necrosphinx there. For ProfPwn, his Spider got a lot of kills, and Azag got a lot of kills, but the rest of the Gobbos had a pretty rough time there, getting charged and breathed, and just generally getting run over. But yeah, the Spider and Azag with that Purple Sun definitely doing quite well. For the Lizardmen here, just overall was pretty rough. The Fire Leech Bolas were definitely the bright spot there. We're able to come in to the engagement where me and ProfPwn were fighting and throw in their Fire Leech Bolas there. Generated a ton of value. Other than that, they had a pretty rough time facing up against the Cetra Ek build of Turin. So very fun stuff. Hope you guys enjoyed watching. If you do like this sort of content, be sure to like, subscribe, hit that bell notification button so every time I upload a new video, you'll be notified. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you next time.